Greetings, fellow terraformers. Radamon here. Thank you for tuning in to Timberborn 1.0. Episode 12, Dirt Excavation and Dynamite. There it is! Booyah! Alright, we are excavating. So this will spin around, digging out the dirt all the way to bedrock. So it's going to go... Like, I built it at level 4, and it's going to go down to 0. So it's going to make a giant hole. It might actually dry up our river. There is a non-zero chance that happens, because it's going to displace a lot of water. A lot of water is going to go into the excavated hole. If that happens, I don't care. I'll have some crop loss. I have enough stockpiled food that it's not a big deal. Plus, the plants don't die immediately. There's like a 3-ish day window on average. So there should be time before that happens. Yeah, beaver injury rate, however, is going to be rough. So the other thing I was considering is well-being for medical beds. I'm going to low-key stick 2 medical beds right next to the excavator because, yeah, I know what's going to happen. Oops. I got my tail cut off. Something like that. All right, there's that ramp, and then we need 4 treated planks here. And the other thing is, like, I want to turn off that treated water wood treatment as soon as I can, because it's now the power competing for the dirt excavator. They're drawing from the same sources. I do, however, have the means to build the other gravity battery. Planks, gears, metal blocks. Planks, gears, metal blocks. Yeah, let's just build it. And we have 4 injuries. You know what? I'm going to go with another medical bed for unrelated OSHA reasons. And the current priority right now is to build a giant reservoir. What are we calling this? Giant vertical column of water? I'll call it a reservoir because, like, that's the term people know. Giant reservoir for water. Now, the other part of this, which I have not yet addressed, is the need to geoengineer this section. Because this won't fill up with water until I reroute water with dynamite and dirt. So, the other part of this is going to be over here. I'm going to want to... Highest priority... Well, actually, I see another issue with this. This plant has to die. This is the most important dirt to put down, and this is so that we can tap badwater for extract and dynamite production. So, and move water east is sort of the solution. So let's talk about the water east. First, I'm going to need to blast this section too deep so that the water here can go east. When it goes east, there is a tunnel here that leads to a waterfall. Then I need to keep the water from leaking out the side of the map and leaking into my village. I need to match the level here, right? It needs to be at least this high, which means building a levee around here that's at least too high. The cheapest way to do that would be, or dirt rather. Cheapest way to do that would be in dirt. I think because dirt is such a cheap material for me to use now, I'm going to build it in dirt like this and like this. And I might have a floodgate here. Oops, turn that around. I might have a floodgate here to be able to deal with the flow, because if we ever get bad water in here, I might want to be able to drain it. So what I can do is I can set it up for like 1 triple floodgate and the rest dirt, because the flow is not a big concern. But essentially, this blocks off the water so that it can start flowing here. And then on top of all of this, I'm also going to want a double floodgate here to then push the water into the waterfall, into this zone. So all of these pieces of the project need to be done before this really works at all. This also means we'll need to clear out these blockers, clear out these blockers. So there's a lot of work to do. Can you deconstruct dirt blocks? Nope. Once you place them, you got to dyno them. They are functionally different than terrain once built. So now I'm just adding in the travel infrastructure needed to build this stuff. So looking at priorities, I'm not going to worry about this. I mean, I'll finish building this. It's fine. Pause. But the priority really is going to be to get the rest of this back section built, because nothing really works until it's done. I will, however, do the extra battery because we're going to need the extra power. The second gravity battery is... It says 40, but it's more than halfway supplied. And we are 1 week out from flood ending. God, I have so many injured. More hospitals? Because you don't get better unless you rest. So let's do more med beds. Run here and one here. Why are they all next to the excavator? Don't know. I know why. Alright, I'm going to pause paper making. Where is my excess? So I have 4 builders, but no haulers. I'm going to actually stop research so they work in hauling to help with logistics. And there we go. Second gravity battery. That'll help. Alright, look into the priorities here. I don't know why this hasn't been built. It's kind of crazy to me that it's high priority and they just still have not yet done it. But that eventually will get done. And then we'll start working in the infrastructure back here to be able to move. And then the last part of this is to then get a path up here to be able to dynamite that out. So in terms of dynamite, we want the 2 deep dynamite, the double dynamite for this section, which means we need to be centrifuging and making extract. I could do single dynamite twice. That might be cheaper, but I'd rather just the infrastructure for like doing it correctly rather than doing it multiple times. To that end, let's get a path up there. So that we can actually move up there and dynamite when we have the supplies. And we'll be able to destroy the trees that are functionally in the way as well. Because they're blocking. Once that's done. So, move water east is not a small project. Not even a little bit. What are my builders doing? What are they currently... Oh, okay. They're putting the soil... Okay, no, they're right. They're putting the soil here, which is correct. Because, we're not going to be able to get explosives until we get bad water pumps in these locations. So the intention here is to put, like, bad water pump here and here. And then to run a path for it. And ideally, I think, and this hurts me a little bit, but I'm going to rip up all of this for a road that goes to an explosives factory up here. No, they're not laying in hospital beds. If they were hospitalized, they wouldn't be working as builders. When you are a builder, let's say you get hurt, you don't stay a builder, you just become hospitalized and unemployed. So injuries are essentially unemployment. They don't work anywhere. They're just in the hospital bed. So I saw that my builder's hut had 4 builders, but I didn't know what they were doing. But now I do. They're placing soil over here. How's our power situation? Fine? Oh, yeah, fine. And our water situation, we now cannot touch the deeper water. So, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a stopgap pump. I only have 1 treated plank, so I need a few more treated planks. I need 5 total treated planks. And I'm going to build a stopgap pump to just reach that depth, knowing that any pump I build right now is going to be obsolete eventually. So what it's going to be is it's going to be I want to pump to I want to pump to reach that depth here, maybe? And this is, like, super emergency, because we're going to run out of tanked water. Now, I could do a stopgap, like, pump, because we have a lot of water in this reservoir. I can also just do a regular water pump here. And I'll do both, because, you know, there's multiple ways to solve the problem. Because this regular pump is just, like, wood. And then water storage over here is also just wood. And this will keep us from dehydrating while we wait for the earth moving. Because this is refillable from this reservoir, from this giant amount of water. In fact, I'll refill it a little bit now. Okay. This dirt is now neutral priority, because there's other things that are far more important. Now that we're running out of water available. Okay, I have 5 treated planks. That's all we need. The 5 treated planks is for the large water pump. Oh, no, it requires 10, sorry. Make 5 more. What required 5? Thought there was a project that required only 5 of them, but I might have that wrong. I don't know. Maybe I'm just imagining it. Oh, yeah, and you don't need to work on a water pump that literally has no access to water. He's been working there like, yep, job's done. I drained the tank. You sure did, dude, but like, you know, get to work elsewhere. The ramps, the curvy ramps required 5. Maybe that's what I was thinking of. Alright, beavers, unless you want to dehydrate and die, please build this. Oh, you're doing it. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, so we're starting to pump water again from over here, and I'll just adjust the floodgates so that this river does not dry up in the next 4 days. And that's the whole reason I built this giant project here. If you thought that was, like, worthless, it wasn't. I'm not gonna die, and it's because of this. And yeah, we have, the water level here is like 95%. So we have like loads and loads and loads of water here ready to be pumped and drank. All right, now in terms of priority, these are going to be neutral. Should be next. We're 4 deep. Although it's a lot less urgent now that we have like access to this water, I think. Because I can always just throw down another... Yeah, maybe that's what I want to do. I don't mind them filling in here, but I don't think I'm going to do a 4 deep pump. I think I'm just going to tap this stuff. It's, like, easier. Because this is temporary, and I can leave this in place. So this is, like, more semi-permanent, if you will. So, yeah. I'm making the decision not to bother with the large pump on the east side, but do... so the other disadvantage here is, like, to get your water fulfillment, you do have to walk a little bit farther. Oh, and there goes the main river. So, the trees aren't going to die anytime soon, but some of the crops will. So, this drought ends in 3.2 days, and the carrots will die, some of them. Now, this deep water hole here, due to the excavator, will last a little bit longer as a result. But most of the crops will survive. Some of the wheat will die real fast, but like, you know, I knew that it was going to happen, and I had mentioned it the moment I built the dirt excavator that was likely going to be a consequence, and that I was okay with it. The other thing I can do is I have a lot of dirt right now, so I'm going to furlough all the dirt excavators. 1, so that they can recover from injuries, and 2, because they can now work in the district center and help put the dirt down, because that's just as equally as important. Redundancy on top of redundancy. Yep, that's the means to survival. So we didn't dehydrate. Crisis averted. We got water over here. A lot of water. And then we'll have flowing water soon enough to prevent most of the stuff from dying out. Yeah, here's all the dirt placement. Sweet. This is what I wanted. This is going to be a little weird with this water pump here, because, like, I'm placing dirt to, like, box it out. So we might need to just constantly be moving these small pumps as everything changes. And, yeah, so be it. The good news is we're like fully not reliant on water wheels. I haven't generated obviously any power from water wheels in like 13 days, and our batteries are at max. Solid. You're the guy to be a project manager for this game? If you want to survive, yes. So at this moment, I'm going to Ooh. I have enough gears. I'm going to furlough all the gears and put people into research again so that I can start getting what we need to make good explosives. By good explosives, what I mean is I want extract for deeper explosions. So let's put a centrifuge here, which allows us to make extract. And then an explosives factory here to make the explosives. Maybe I'll put it there. And then a large capacity badwater tank here. And the intention is to then run a path kind of as much, like eventually I'll get zip lines, but as much as the crow flies over to here. Meaning probably landfilling this spot so that we have more of a direct path. And then like eventually phasing out the wood, deleting it in lieu of dirt. Because it's more arable land. So this here is maybe not necessary to kill as a result. Because I'm like running it, running the path differently. What would that be? Delete, undelete? There we go. It's funny to have all this like potential medicine making and I'm not even using it. All right, hauling post is on staff. That's fine. So you can see the cube becoming more cubist here, if you will. I know that's weird. And with the observatory up and fully researching, I'll be able to get double and triple dynamite. And eventually tunnels. I don't have need of tunnels immediately, so that's why I'm leaving tunnels for later. But that's going to be really helpful. So here we go. We have the badwater pumps. I'm going to pause them for right now because obviously there's no badwater available. But this will then contain badwater. And the badwater is going to be made available for both the centrifuge and the explosive factory. And then on top of that, I'm going to want another large tank. And I'll put it here for extract. So extract is what the centrifuge does, which is like reducing badwater down as like a oil, if you think. The way I picture is like extract is like essentially oil. Or biofuel or something, I don't know. So getting all this built. And yeah, we are using dirt like crazy. Well, here comes the flood. So let's see. This gate I'm going to just set to 0. This gate is going to be 95, actually 1. And then once we have our main riverbed refilled, I'll set this to 0. Once we prevent the crops from drying out and dying, I'll reset the floodgates to a more appropriate level. Well, just even like a little sip of water will keep the plants from dying, and then we can refill the rivers and the drinking hole. Now, refilling the drinking hole is a bit of a moving target because this drinking hole's total volume is changing every time I add soil to it. So we might not want to fill this until I'm like done modifying it, because it's gonna get messed up repeatedly. But what I can do in the meantime, while we're building it up, is place a 4-depth water pump here, because that's going to be like more semi-permanent as I'm building this up, which is not unreasonable. So yeah, we had some crop loss, but like just not Not that bad. All right, 95 and 1. And I will say, this was awesome. Having this backup water was awesome. Just fantastic. So I'm going to start to fill this back up. So this is set to fill back up now. So I think until I have this large water pump, I'm just going to get my water from here for now. So the current priority now is to... Yeah, I mean, it's the same. It's also to sort of like build up dynamite supply, but yeah. Okay, people on the water wheels, you're free. In fact, you probably don't need to ever work that again. I might be done with hamster wheels, power wheels. We'll see. I'll only know in time. All right, I'm going to go a little bit over time. Just to fully sort of incorporate a lot of the designs that we got going on. But it does look like the builders are starting to build the west levee now, which is awesome. To clear the blockers. And then the emergency supply of water is slowly filling back up to pre-drought levels. And then maybe I'll prioritize the badwater tank, because droughts will also stop us from being able to obtain badwater. So it's kind of important to be able to start stockpiling the badwater now, so that even during droughts we have badwater availability. So I'm going to make the medium tank for the badwater high priority so that we can start stocking it up. Because if the next event is a drought and not a bad tide, I won't have access to badwater. So there we go. We've now hired badwater workers. Now they're really inefficient right now, and that's because I don't have a good path for them. So I'm going to prioritize building the path so that they can actually move the badwater. It'll be a little bit better if I do this, but so they can move the badwater from here to there. Prioritize by haulers, prioritize by haulers, prioritize by haulers, and then to make sure we have some haulers on staff. Done. All right, in terms of dynamite, we're going to get the double depth, and then last but not least, the triple depth. And then once we have the triple depth, I won't really have a high need of research for a while. I'll have unlocked all the things I like most need done, so that we can sort of focus on the mega project construction rather than research or anything like that. The second river overflows good water, so you don't get bad water. That's not at all true. This is bad water here. I diverted the good water to keep it away from the bad water, so this is still bad water. This is obviously functional. There's some mix water, but it's mostly bad water. And there we go. We're getting our bad water supply. And then once we have the bad water supply, I will need to start smelting metal again. Because both the centrifuge and the explosive factory requires metal and gears. I have a bunch of gears. I have enough gears for both, but I do not have the metal for both. Ooh, I'm producing twice as much power than I'm using. That's what I like to see. Excess. So for right now, what we're doing is we're building up the sides and then unlocking the technology needed to like blast the middle. And then you'll just see, as we progress this project, it will become a vertical column of water. A glorious vertical column of water to be able to supply all of our long drought needs. Builders, what are you working on? You're working on this stuff over here? Guess it's fine. No matter what they're working on, it's all like roughly the same priority. I think I'm gonna slightly boost up Centrifuge and Explosives Factory over the background priorities. So that we can start to build up a supply for the things we needed to go boom. And then this road is obviously highest priority for the convenience of our badwater pumpers, which is why it's at max. And yeah, if we take a look at our excavator, it has gone all the way to bedrock now, which means we'll have a lot of water available for irrigation in the future. Now I may need to fill the watering hole at least a little bit, because it's at a really low level to get it up, knowing that, like, yeah, it might overflow as we add soil. With a bad tide coming, yeah, let's do that, because with the bad tide coming, I'm losing access to this as an aquifer completely. Got it. Why aren't they? Oh, I know why. I'm building from the... Okay, yeah. I need to build this. Because the arrows, I have to build the right side first. That's why this wasn't getting done. Alright, I think I filled enough water in there. I'm going to err on the side of caution, not overfill it. Maybe, because we know the next thing is a bad tide, I will pause. In fact, the easiest way to pause this project is to pause the lowest level of the furthest arrowed sections. So I don't have, like, a ton of things to have to pause. So, I don't want to lower the volume of this, this zone. And the only things I'll put in is the dirt blocks needed here for the deep pump. So what we'll do is we'll rush towards this deep pump here. I'm just going to get rid of this. You can actually just haul the water that gets lost. It's like miraculously bottled. So I'll build this large water pump knowing that we have a bad tide coming. And the current priority is prep for the bad tide. So that I have, because yeah, we won't be able to draw a lot of water from the west anymore. So this is the highest priority so that we can bad tide prep. Come on, builders. Okay, they're doing it. Because once this soil is added, we'll just max out the water in this pool, and then we'll have a pretty decent amount of capacity there. And I can even add to the capacity if we could get Explosives Factory and Centrifuge up in time, but probably won't be done in time, I'd imagine. I do have a lot of bad water built up already, though, so I'm going to pause my bad water pumpers, knowing that with a bad tide coming, I'm not going to lack bad water. The other thing is, let's go ahead and the first 4 dynamite I have will be here. And I think that will keep my my levees from overflowing. But the reason why this is such an emergency is often bad water gets in here during bad tides, and that means that this will be poison, not drinkable water. That's why this is so damn important. But it's about to get built now. So, I can fill this up again. So let's go ahead and fill this up all the way, because there's no more displacement that's going to happen here. So this can hit 100%. And I'll just keep the water pump paused until it's time to pump from this zone. Do I need more levees to channel water there? No, it's like close enough. Okay, and then I'll try to top it up one more time right before the bad tide. But this will be paused. So now this has access to 4 depth of water, which is a good amount. And the big push here would be to increase the volume by blowing things up with explosives. So I think the highest priority I want right now is this explosives factory. Meaning that the centrifuge that's about to get done, I'm actually going to blow up and refund. And the reason for this is I need a little bit of dynamite to protect this water. I need these 4 dynamite. I think these 4 dynamite are critical to protect this water here. I would love to be able to protect that water. So getting this up is like absolutely necessary. And then the centrifuge can come thereafter. I'm also going to pause my observatory because I have all that I need to get the triple dynamite now. And I don't need science at the moment. That's not my bottleneck. But I don't see that this works. The other thing I could do, potentially, is let's go ahead and raise this up max. Lower this max. And then lower this all the way. To try to reduce the total volume of water waiting to flow. So to give me a little bit more wiggle room for when the bad tide comes. Won't I need power for the explosive factory? Yeah, what I could do is, as a stopgap measure, temporarily, because it will only cost me 4 wood, build that too. Basically, I'm trying to keep this water from being polluted, if I can. Alright, let's top up our drinking water again. Split the water. I don't think I can stop it from being polluted. Ugh, maybe, if I'm lucky. Okay, I know we have mass floods. It was intended. And at the last second, snap this shut. Bad tide started. So this is at max. This is at max. And I'm trying to keep this from overflowing, polluting this water. Regardless, I'm going to pause these pumps just in case it gets polluted. Let's 100% our main river. It's a 12-day bad tide, which is not that long. It's not like the 15 we just got hit with. And then unpause this water pump. Come on, build. Where the heck's my builders? They got flooded out. Okay. Yeah, it spilled over. So this is all going to be poisoned. I didn't get the dynamite in time. What I can try to do is keep the water level up here to buffer it. Well, I don't want it spilling over. Come on, build the frickin' thing! You guys are killing me. I need 1 gear. Some heroic beaver, some... Okay, there we go. So, with dynamite, we should be able to fix this overflowed levee. And that will be where I end the stream, fixing the overflowed levee. But easily, this large pump with just 2 workers should be able to supply all the drinking water we need for 12 days. That's, like, not a problem at all. And we won't have evaporation problems in 12 days for the main river, especially now that we have this, like, super deep borehole. So you are making explosives, and I really need the 4 dynamite to fix the overflowed levee. And I think all I need to do is put 4 dynamite blasts there, and that's all that will be required. The other thing is I don't have an active path there at the moment. So I am going to create a raised platform path so I don't have to like walk through cancer water going forward. So the highest priorities right now until end of stream is these 4 dynamite and this walking path. And I'm praying that that's all it's needed. Also, my gears went to hell. So let's fire the gears back up. I just noticed. I could have done 2 walking paths. Whatever. And you lack goods. Let's get the scrap flag back up. So we've got 2 of the 4 dynamite. We're almost there. And this is just proof of concept that our levee will work once the flow rate is modified by dynamite. Which I'm 99% sure it will happen. Because it's just too bottlenecked, causing overflow, and I'm pretty sure I'm fixing that. Actually, that might have been enough. Maybe 3 dynamite was the fix. Because yep, 3 dynamite was the fix. I'll dynamite that you know what? Don't even bother. It's not needed. So, we fixed our levee problem. And we can drop this floodgate to empty out this pool of trash water, getting rid of it permanently. But now, all future bad tides will not affect this river anymore. This river is now bad tide proof as a result of just a little bit of dynamite. It was just a little bit too narrow right there. It couldn't handle the flow, but now it does. So the project now is to ready the eastern waterfall and build the reservoir, which would be here and here. Well, this, friends, is where I'm going to leave off, having survived 6 more cycles, almost. Thank you for tuning in to Timberborn 1.0, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhodamont.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhodamont.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow Beavers.